I'm Andrew Demko here at Demko Knives. Today we're going to talk about the shark lock. What is it? Why did we make it? What are its attributes and features? Obviously, I think we all can agree that this looks like the dorsal fin of a shark. So, when I was designing this, at first I was calling it the apex lock because it was up on top. I thought that name was just a little bit arrogant. So I like sharks. So this to me is very shark-like with this lock. So the shark lock is what I call a standalone locking system. Why is that? Because if you see here, this is actually your shark lock. This is made in-house. It's wire cut on an ADM. It's heat-treated stainless steel to a very strong and tough state of 54 RC. And what it has is a drive spring. The drive spring goes in here. You people who've taken your knives apart know that this spring will fly out nearly at the speed of light, so watch out for that. But the spring goes in here, so it's a totally contained system to where the spring is inside the lock itself. Most knives, the lock operates on a spring in some manner. Whether it's a liner lock, the liner is actually a spring that goes over, or an axis type lock that has omega springs to push it forward. So in this case, this is the only lock I know of, one of the few that have a drive spring located inside the lock itself. I did this on the cold steel Bushman called the namesake lock almost 20 years ago, and I've been working on ways to improve that. That leads me to why did we make the shark lock? Every knife I design or every locking mechanism I design, I'm trying to make improvements over our last one. Some of those improvements are in performance, but oftentimes they're just in the ability to manufacture them. So this, after we realized, wait a minute, we can put the spring in here and everything's enclosed here. What it gives us is the great ability to then make a knife that has a titanium handle or a G10 handle or handle with a composite plastic, whatever, and a steel liner. But also, because of the way the lock works, it needs no steel liner, and you'll still have an incredibly strong knife. For example, our 8022 is completely linerless, and you'll see that it's solid camo carbon, no liner, and it absolutely meets our strength requirements for this knife because of the way the shark lock operates and works. So how does it operate? You pull the lock back and upward. So you'll see this is part of the patented feature. The lock comes back, but you'll run out of room. You'll have to have a long travel spring. It'll take too much of the knife up if you only go back. So then we've added this feature so where it lifts up, and that clears the blade tang. So yes, you can just pull it back, but what will happen is you'll pull this direction. So it's back and up. And when you lift that up, it takes the lock completely off of the blade tang, freeing any tension from the spring, and then it's operating very fast, closing very easily. So back, that's only back. Now watch when I go up. And if you time it correctly, you go back, up, and let go. If you don't, it'll stay like this. But if you go back, up, and let go, then your knife will swing shut effortlessly. We do get some questions sometimes. People will say, oh, my knife doesn't open fast enough. Probably there's two reasons. Either you're not really used to that knife yet, or the blades are different weights. For example, these knives, the blades are they're not heavy, but they have enough weight to where an easy flick will send these things very quickly out. But for example, our razor shark, the blade is very light, so it doesn't have the momentum. People say, oh, that thing doesn't work right. Well, it's a light blade. It doesn't flip out as fast, so you have to adjust. This was funny to me. I didn't know people would do this. A lot of people only hold their shark lock back and flip the knife open. And that actually never occurred to me when we were making this. And I didn't know about how fun and fidget friendly the knife would be until I saw people sitting there all day like this. So you don't actually need to do anything but function the lock. And it drops open, drops shut. Drops open, drops shut. The key attributes about the shark lock are being that it's totally enclosed with its drive spring and its locking mechanism. It stays very clean. It's easy to maintain. And the most important part about a knife lock is that it's self-adjustable. So as parts can wear over thousands and thousands of openings or hard use, this lock is always moving forward. And these unique angles and raises in here are always, if it wears out or if it gets deformed, the lock simply goes in further. It's tight, wears out, but goes in further. And actually, we've never had a lock worn out yet. So that design is working, as conceived. It works very well. It's totally enclosed, so dirt, grime, everything. It stays very, very clean. We haven't had any reports of any failures due to pocket lint or dirt and grime or grut, but you still should keep your knife clean. That doesn't mean you have to take it apart and your spring fly out, but you can visually inspect it. We just spray a lot of times with WD-40 and wipe it off. That leads them to carrot. They don't really need much other than some light oiling when you feel that the knife is sluggish. There are bearings and almost all of our standard knives. And bearings really don't need oil. Ceramic bearings especially do not need oil. But a little dab of oil will help that, and the wear points, not that they wear, but they're wearing to each other, the lock face and the blade tang. And we've made these a long time, and we've made them a long time for ourselves before they hit production. So I have these with years of use and wear, and not one has worn out yet, due to the heat treatment of the lock, the strength of the parts, and the self-adjustment of the lock itself by design. That said, the shark lock can make each knife heirloom quality because they just do not wear out.